Rob, as we've been hearing, fourth election in 2 years in Israel. Israelis clearly getting pretty wary of all of this. Why is Israel still stuck in this position, unable to form these stable governments?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, four in 2 years and only 7 months since the last government was formed. It fell apart essentially because of a dispute between Benjamin Netanyahu's supporters and the supporters of Benny Gantz over the issue of the budget. They were meant to form a coalition in which there would be a rotating premiership. The suspicion is that Benjamin Netanyahu, who was coming to the end of his first year in the rotating premiership, was looking ahead and thinking, look, I don't want Gantz to become prime minister, because if he becomes prime minister and I'm in the middle of my trial over bribery, fraud and breach of trust, I'll have less influence over the outcome of that trial. You know, that's a cynical view, but there are many in the political opposition who would say, look, if there wasn't a trial, there would have been a budget. And if there had been a budget, there wouldn't be an election now. Perhaps that's a cynical view, but it's held by an awful lot of people in Israel. The other thing, of course, is the system itself. Israel uses a system of proportional representation that has ensured that not once in the 72 years of Israel's existence has there been a party that has managed to rule by itself. There has always been either coalition or grand sort of, gatherings of different parties in blocks. This time is going to be no exception. The question will be, will it be a bloc or a coalition that is able to rule?
And Rob, in every one of those recent elections that we've seen in these past few years, Netanyahu has been the key player. He is the longest serving prime minister in Israel. He's sort of a political survivor, isn't he? Despite all these scandals that have sought to bring him down, it looks like he might well survive again. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He is a great political survivor. He's been in power for so long. There is every chance that he could win again this time, despite, so many things going against him. Some people are saying this is a referendum on Benjamin Netanyahu. And to a degree it is. I mean, it's not to suggest that there aren't big ideological issues in Israel. There are, clearly, about the future of the state, about whether it should be a two-state solution to the Palestinian issue, the whole issue of whether the country should be secular or orthodox. There are big issues that divide Israelis, no question about it. But Benjamin Netanyahu has dominated politics for so long now. Some people say that he confuses the state and himself. This time is going to be no exception. And he has run, as ever, because he is a consummate politician, a very good campaign. Despite the fact, for instance, that on COVID-19, things started out really badly in Israel. The economy was in really bad shape because of the number of people who were falling ill. The response to the pandemic was pretty poor at best. Now, he appears to have got on top of things. The vaccination program has been one of the best, if not the best, in the world. On top of that, he's had some pretty impressive diplomatic progress in establishing relations with countries like Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, with Sudan, with Morocco. He stands out for most Israelis as a politician who is known in the world. They like the fact that he's strong on Iran, another big factor for him. But the problem for him is that he has to put together a coalition of 61 MPs, members of parliament in the Knesset. That is becoming increasingly difficult to do, not least because one of the stars of his own party, the Likud party, Gideon Saar, has broken away and formed a party called New Hope. It is expected to get about 10 to 12 seats. That makes it more difficult for Likud and Benjamin Netanyahu to put together a coalition, because Saar has said he will not join a coalition with Benjamin Netanyahu, because he is determined to set out a new party in which issues like fighting corruption and clean politics have to be to the fore. That is the problem, really, essentially facing Netanyahu. But the opposition has exactly, if not even bigger problems than those facing Netanyahu. How do you put together a coalition which is so ideologically divided? In fact, the only thing that would unite the coalition is opposition to Netanyahu himself. Is that enough to form a government? Probably not.
All right, well, we'll wait and see the final results in those elections, unexpected for a few days. Rob Parsons for us there. Thank you very much indeed.